Hello everybody, today I can write a series equation using explicit and summation formulas and using that r equals 1 plus or minus the rate. So these are your two formulas. You have your explicit here on the left, your summations on the right. The explicit is your go-to. 90% of the time you are using your explicit formula. The only time you're using the summations one is if you see a summation in the choices. And we'll see those problems, but for the most part, you are using your explicit. It's given to you, it's on the reference sheet, so use it. So, your parents want you to do some work around the house. You get them to agree to pay you 1 cent on the first day, 2 cents on the second day, 4 cents on the third day, and so on. Write a geometric series formula, Sn, for your earnings. So again, unless it specifies otherwise, you are always going to use your explicit. So Sn equals A1 minus A1 r to the n over 1 minus r. Well, A1, on the first day I'm getting 1 cent. R, if you can't tell just by looking at it, is A2 over A1 in this example, would be 0.02 over 0.01, which is 2. So Sn equals 0.01 minus 0.01. R is 2 to the power of n over 1 minus 2. All that you can do is the bottom. And that's your answer. At the end of the 30-day month, how much money will your parents have paid you to the nearest cent? Now, here's why this is a series instead of a sequence. If it wants to know how much money you would make on the 30th day, so how much money on the 30th day, that would be A30. S30 is the total amount over 30 days. It's the first day, plus the second day, plus the third day, plus the fourth day, all the way up to and including the 30th day. That's why we're using Sn, because it's not asking how much I made in the 30th day, it's asking how much total I got. So that's why you're doing series Sn instead of sequence An. If it said how much will she pay you, or how much will they pay you on the 30th day, then it would be A30 and you'd use the sequence formula. So S30 equals 0.01. I'm just using this formula that I wrote here, minus 0.01, 2 to the power of 30 over -1. Now what's great about this question is it sounds like the parents are paying you nothing. They're getting a penny, 2 pennies, 4 pennies. So if you can trick your parents into this, you're going to see how much money you're going to make. It's going to be pretty awesome. Alpha y equals enter, 0.01 minus 0.01, 2 to the power of 30 over -1. That's a lot of money. 107.37. 107.37.418.23. Wow. Well, I don't know how many people's parents have $10,737,418.23 laying around, but if you do, maybe you can trick your parents into getting that from them. That's it. The sum, if you need the sum, the total amount, you use series. This is your go-to series formula. You substitute in, you get your answer. Just make sure that you write the equation before you sub in. A lot of times they ask for the equation first, so make sure you give me the equation with an n, and then you can sub in what it's asking for. Let me just pause it for a second. All right, so number 2, it wants us, so this year, public parks in New York State will receive funds of $2.4 million. Every year afterwards, it will be improved by 3%. Write an expression in summation notation. So for summation notation, again, you're just going to kind of copy this off the front. A1 r to the n minus 1. A1 is 2.4. R, now this is a very, very, very important concept we talked about already. If it's improving by 3%, if it's increasing by 3%, it's 1 plus 0.03, which is 1.03. We've talked about that quite a bit so far. N equals 1 to n. A1 is 2.4. R is 1.03 to the n minus 1. Using your expression, determine how much money they'll have after 4 years. So n equals 1 to 4, 2.1, 2.4, 1.03 to the n minus 1. Let me just erase this, it's kind of getting in the way. I'm making me scrunch. And to evaluate summations, I start by substituting the number in the bottom in for n. So it'll be 2.4, 1.03 to the 1 minus 1. And then I keep on subbing in until I get to the top number. You can use a calculator. 2.4, 1.03 to the 1 minus 1. Probably easier to copy and paste this. 2 minus 1. 3 minus 1. 4 minus 1. So it was 2.4, 2.472, 2.54616. I don't know what's up with this black line that keeps on coming up. And 2.622. I'm just going to write ... And then I add them together. I don't know what that weird line is. I add them together. I'm going to use the calculator to do that. I'm just going to copy and paste each of them. So I'm going to do the 2.4 plus the 2.472 plus to the nearest million. That's $10 million. That's a lot of money. So if it wants it in summation notation, I'll use this. If it wants it in explicit, we use this. What's going to come up like 90% of the time is going to be explicit. That's what we're going to focus on more. But, you'll see what kind of questions I'll ask you on summations. Let's do number 4. This was on the Regents. It's actually on the first ever Common Core Algebra 2 Regents. I think it is a very, very simple, straightforward 4-point question. So let's go through it. Alexa earns $33,000 in her first year of teaching. A1. Earns a 4% increase. So you tell me right now, think about it for like 10 seconds, what is R going to be? If I'm increasing by 4%, it's 1 plus 0.04. R is 1.0. It says SN, so that makes it even easier. You don't have to think about it. And it's SN because it's her total earnings, not how much she's earning each year. That would be A of N, but her total earnings, the first year plus the second year plus the third year, is SN. So again, your go-to is your explicit, A1 minus A1 R to the N over 1 minus R. Sn equals 33,000 minus 33,000. R is 1.04 to the N over 1 minus 1.04. All I can combine is the bottom. And that's the answer to the first part of the question. The most common mistake students make is they put 0.04 instead of 1.04. That's the most common mistake that we see with these questions. Again, R is 1 plus or minus the rate. Now, find her total earnings after 15 years. So S15 is 33,000 minus 33,000, 1.04 to the 15 over negative 0.04. S15 equals alpha y equals enter 33,000 minus 33,000 1.04 to the power of 15 over negative 0.04. To the nearest cent is 2 decimal places, so 660,000, 778, and 39 cents. I think this is one of the easiest 4-point questions you can get. This formula is given to you. It's even saying to use SN. A1 is the first term, or the amount after the first year. And again, this is really important. We've talked about this quite a bit. A 4% increase is 1 plus 0.04, which is 1.04. Make sure to answer the first question. You give an equation after n years. Don't sub in yet. Just keep this as n. Then, for the follow-up question, replacing the n with the 15, we put into the calculator, we get our answer. I want you to try number 6 on your own right now. So please pause, try number 6 on your own, and then unpause. Okay, now that you tried number 6 on your own, D is planning on decreasing the amount of time she eats fast food per month. That's a good goal. After the first month, she ate fast food 42 times. So A1 is 42. Each month, she eats at fast food restaurants 10% less than the previous month. So if it's 10% less, then the common ratio is 1 minus 0.10, which is 0.9. How many times does she eat fast food in the first 4 months? So it's not asking how much does she eat fast food during the 4th month. It's asking how many times did she eat in the first 4 months. So that's the first month, plus the second month, plus the third month, plus the 4th month. That's why it's going to be S4. If it doesn't specify, we always want to use explicit. So let's start by writing the explicit formula. Sn equals A1 R to the N over 1 minus R. I keep on saying this, but it's on the reference sheet. You don't have to memorize it. So it's not asking you to write an equation here, so I can just go right to substituting 4 in for n. 42 minus 42.9 to the n is 4 over 1 minus 0.9. Pop it into the calculator. 42 minus 42.9 to the power of 4 over 1 minus 0.9. I didn't specify what to round to. Let's round to the nearest unit. She ate fast food 144 times. That might sound like a lot, but think about how often you go in a week and kind of see where that lands after 4 months. So sounds like a lot, but you might go close to that amount as well. Hopefully you don't. So bottom line, because it wants the total she ate in the first 4 months, that's S4. This is given to you in your reference sheet, and then you just substitute in and you get your answer. So just to be clear, this is on your reference sheet. This one kind of is. This is the geometric sequence formula, which is on the reference sheet. But you have to know that for the series, the sequence formula goes in front of a summation. Your go-to is this. You'll see what kind of stuff comes up with that. In fact, we're going to go to now. Number 9. Kristen wants to increase her running endurance. Good for her. I give her credit. According to experts, a gradual mileage increase of 10%. Increase of 10%. So R is going to be 1.1. Can reduce the risk of injury. If Kristen runs 8 miles in week 1, here's your A1, which expression can help her find the total number of miles? Total number, so I know I'm going to have to do Sn. In this case, S6. So, choices 1 and 2 are in summation form, and choices 3 and 4 are in explicit form. So, I'm going to need you to do both. Let's start with explicit. S6 equals A1 minus A1 R to the N over 1 minus R. 1 minus 1.1 is all I can do. You can use a calculator if you need to. That's negative 0.1. That's not choice 3. That's not choice 4. So now I'm going to do it using summations. N equals 1 to 6. And I use the sequence formula, which is A1. Let's just write the formula first. It's just A1 R to the N minus 1. So it's going to be N equals 1 to 6. A1 we said is 8. R we said is 1.1 to the N minus 1. And there it is. So this was a Regents question. This is really the only time I would use summation method, summation form. Otherwise, I would do explicit. That's it. I got a lot more practice problems for you to do here. I mean, the big key is R. When you're increasing or decreasing by a percent, you do 1 plus or minus the rate. We did that in the modeling sequence lesson as well. Your go-to should be explicit, which is given to you on the reference sheet, unless it says summation form, or you have summations in your answers, in which case you're going to use that one. This needs to be practiced. They ask a lot of questions in the Regents like this, and again, we know to do Sn instead of An if it's asking for the total as opposed to just one. If I want to know my total earnings over 10 years, that's S10. If I want to know how much money I made in my 10th year, that's A10. Have a great day.